Awesome. Well, today I'm going to be talking about finding leads and planning your week for success. We have a workshop that we're doing. There's 11 different topics that we go over. We've actually completed all 11 and we're starting over again. And so a lot of you all are new and didn't get to go through this before. So I'm going to be kind of going through basically on best practices from us, how we find our leads, how we plan our week. So just to kind of help you all and maybe give you all some good ideas of things maybe you haven't already heard. So just to kind of go through the agenda, we'll talk about identifying high potential leads. Then I'll talk about organizing, how we've organized our weeks for success and planning, and then we'll go through priorities for effective follow-up, and then Q&A at the end. So first, identifying high potential leads. Definite recommendation on this is to pick 1 to 2 industries at a time to focus on. So for maybe 3 months, you're going to focus on restaurants and retail. And then for the next 3 months after that, you're going to focus on hair salons and car dealerships. I'm just throwing some random stuff out there. That just keeps it a little bit more organized instead of just kind of going out there and trying to figure out who you're gonna start dropping in on and calling on. So different ways. So the first way on how we recommend finding your leads, we actually do this in the training in the academy. It's one of the first things that you all have to go through, the rapid launch course. And our recommendation on that is to reach out to people that you know. I'm sure you know people that either have their own businesses or know people that own businesses. Plus, you probably know people who are pretty high up in a specific business that they're in. So those are definite first people that we would recommend that you reach out to. So go through your phone contacts, go through your social media, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, whatever social media you have. So first is going through those contacts. Second, you can buy them. We recommend using Apollo.io, and we'll link that in the chat here. Lucy, if you want to link that here for everybody. It is in the academy as well, but you can sign up for free and use that to get some leads. And then, of course, paid ads. So when doing paid ads, recommendation there is to put something to catch their attention. So, for example, offer some kind of a free trial, 14-day free trial, 30-day free trial, whatever to catch their attention. We don't necessarily like free ourselves because there's no value in it, but that's a good way to help get you some appointments scheduled is, they offer a free trial, so they're going to want to listen to what you have to say. And then at that point, you would go into it and share, this is what the free trial has versus this is what the paid subscription has, which would obviously have more. And then, of course, manual effort as well. So Google search, Yelp search, social media, canvassing, going actually out door to door, walking in the door when you're going out with your family to dinner, on the weekends, in the evenings, or stopping at a coffee shop in the mornings. It's a great time to be canvassing, just asking questions, gathering information, and of course, try to get a meeting while you're there. And then referrals is another great way. Anytime you close somebody or just even talk to somebody, go ahead and ask for another referral. And what we like to do when we get a merchant to give us a referral, we do like to give extra credits to them if they sign up to the person who referred the other company. So just think about things like that to kind of entice them to give you referrals. ChatGPT is also another great tool. I'm sure most of you have probably used that at some point. We use it a lot with composing texts and emails and even with our marketing. But it's also a great way for you to search for new leads. Just pick a specific industry and the area you want to focus on, and it'll start giving you lists of different places to reach out. OpenTable, delivery apps, coupon magazines, all of those are great ways as well. For me, whenever I was out selling, what I did is I always had a list of prospects that I use Google. Google was my best friend. Social media was my best friend. And because you can always get on social media and research more about the people that you're trying to talk to. But Google is where I made my list, and that's kind of where I stay personally. Strategic planning, so organizing your week. We're all about having a game plan to organize ourselves, so we're not just going out and going willy-nilly. So we like to set goals for ourselves. So we like to say set a monthly goal and then break it down bi-weekly and then daily. So for example, and for my example on here, this is probably more for part-time. So if you are going out and doing this full-time, you don't have another job or anything like that, then I would maybe double the activities and the goals on this. This is if you do have a full-time job and you're doing this more on the side. This is kind of what I would recommend, what we would recommend for a goal. So let's just say May is coming up. You set yourself a goal for May. I'm going to schedule 12 meetings. I'm going to close 4 accounts. And how am I going to do that? I'm going to do 480 activities. So activities could be walking in the door, calling on the phone, sending out emails, all of that good stuff. So then you break it down by week. So weekly, I'm going to schedule 4 meetings. I'm going to close 1 account each week. And I'm going to perform 120 activities. And then again, break it down daily. Perform 1 meeting each day. I'm going to have 24 activities each day. I'm going to schedule 2 future appointments. And then, of course, use your calendar to block all of that off. So for me, my daily thing was always, I'm going to schedule 2 future appointments no matter what I need to do. If it's not working on the phone, I'm going to get in my car and I'm going to get out on the road and start walking in the doors. Or I'm going to start sending out emails and all of that. So my goal each day was I'm not going to leave the day without at least 2 future appointments scheduled for myself. And then let's talk through, obviously, priorities for effective follow-up. You all get the follow-up, you understand it's important, but consistency is a big with follow-up. So be consistent, make sure you're either following up once a week, twice a week, however you want that to be, and always leave after you talk to somebody, whether you didn't schedule an appointment or you did already have the meeting. Always have a follow-up in place if they obviously don't schedule the meeting or if they don't close the deal. If you don't close the deal in that first meeting, always have a follow-up and always tell them what your follow-up is. I'm going to call you back on Friday at 2 o'clock. So that way they're aware of what you're going to do, and that's still being consistent as well. Use CRMs. So we're really big on CRMs. We use HubSpot. I think we have it linked. I know we talk about it in the Academy. I think we have a link in there because you can sign up for it for free. But definitely use something like a CRM to keep yourself, keep your tasks going. I have tasks I work through every single day, leads that I call. If I don't get them on the phone, I take notes of what happened, and then I move the task out for another day so it alerts me for that next day too. I need to call them again. Create templated texts and emails. So obviously emails, that's just a quicker way, so you can send out an email after you've walked in the door, you didn't get the meeting set, so you can sit in your car and send out an email really fast to that person, letting them know that you dropped by. Text as well. We use the platform ourselves to speak with you all, as well as our merchants and prospects. So if you want to use it, I would highly recommend using your demo account to reach out and communicate, and you can set up templated text in there as well. We do that a lot within the platform, and you can set those templates up as well. And of course, being persistent. You know, for me, whenever someone told me I'm not interested, that was not a no, like a definite no, unless they just said never come back in here again. I was always persistent. I showed my face every now and then, whether I was just dropping in to get a cup of coffee and say hi, or I would come back 6 months later after they told me a no and see if they were ready to look at it at that point. So just because they say no, just put them under at the end of your list and work through it again at a later date.